what's the deal with Medicare Advantage? Where did it come from? How does it work? What are the pros and cons to it? Let's jump into it. So, Medicare Advantage, not to bore you to death, but Medicare Advantage origin actually came out in 1982 with the TEFRA Act, the Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act of 1982 is sort of the origin story. In 1997, it became Part C, and in 2003, it was updated to what we know of Medicare Advantage plans today. A lot of Medicare Advantage plans are called MA for Medicare Advantage or MAPD, Medicare Advantage Prescription Drug Plan. And they are one of the options when someone has original Medicare A and B that they could step into as a secondary or supplemental coverage, even though Part C actually wraps everything together into one plan. A lot of those folks would have A, B, C, and D sort of all combined into one plan. According to KFF.org, more than half of all Medicare members are on an Advantage plan. Now, we see these plans heavily advertised during open enrollment or annual enrollment, October 15th through December 7th. I know a lot of folks still get calls, it seems like every day over the phone, about these types of plans. But let's get into sort of the nitty gritty on them a little bit. So we'll talk about sort of the pros and cons here of a Medicare Advantage plan. And this is the feedback. This information here is feedback that I get from my clients. I have got hundreds of clients on Medicare Advantage plans, medigap plans as well. And the feedback that I get from everybody, this is sort of the common stuff that I see on a regular basis. So one of the pros that people really like is those plans have a maximum out of pocket. And in some cases, depending on the plan, the max out of pocket can be fairly low. People like the fact that they have a financial protection, that there's a cap for the year that they don't go beyond. So that's a popular pro, I would say, for these plans. The next big one is a lot of the plans have a zero monthly premium. Now, some plans have a small premium, but a lot of plans have a zero monthly premium. And I sort of call the difference on these, say, Medicare Advantage plans, I call them pay as you go, and Medicare supplement plans or medigap plans, I call pay what you know. Those plans typically have a monthly premium attached to them, where a lot of the Medicare Advantage plans are zero premium. So you don't necessarily pay anything to own the plan. You have to pay your Part B, Medicare Part B, of course, but a lot of the plans are zero premium after that, so nothing additional. And so that's a big one that people really like, the fact that it's a zero premium plan. Next on the list, and this is in no particular order, are extra benefits. A lot of the Medicare Advantage plans have dental coverage built into them, vision coverage, a way to help out for hearing aids possibly. Some plans have an over-the-counter allowance where they allow you to purchase certain over-the-counter items. Some plans have a gym membership, things like that. Those are all things that are beyond original Medicare, and those make the plans popular. People really like those additional benefits or extra benefits. Also on the list here, Part D. A lot of the Advantage plans have Part D already built into it. So you don't have to have a separate drug plan or prescription plan that you may have to pay a premium for, something like that. It's all built together in one plan, sort of makes things simple. And then, as we kind of touched on a little bit ago, the pay-as-you-go model, these plans have co-pays. Some have deductibles, and there's of course, there's co-insurance in there as well. But the model is sort of set up on, I go to a specialist, I may pay a copay. At that specialist, I have to get an x-ray done, there'll be a copay for that. So I'm sort of paying as I'm using the plan instead of paying something monthly. And that's, again, something that a lot of people prefer that or like that option versus having to pay something every month and maybe not even using the plan. So that's the good stuff. What do people really dislike about Medicare Advantage plans? They really dislike the fact that you got to get a prior authorization. So you and your doctor do not have the final say on a procedure that you may need. It's going to come down to the insurance company approving that, and that can be a significant hurdle. So you can get a lot of static there from the insurance companies. You might be looking at delays, for approvals that you're looking to get something done now, and it may take a substantial amount of time to get that approval. Or next on the list, it could be a denial. So they're not going to let you do that particular procedure. And so these are some major cons that can come into place for Advantage Plan members. Third is plans change every year. So during that annual enrollment time, these plans get updated. And, in years past, the plans didn't change that much, from year to year, a couple tweaks here or there, that type of thing. For years, it was like that. The last couple years, we've seen some significant changes. We've seen things pull back, benefits pull back, things like that. And we don't know until the new year comes. One of the reasons that we have the annual enrollment, so that if a new plan comes out that you feel is better suited for you, you can make that move during that time frame and move over to a plan that may be better suited for you. Next one on the list is networks. These plans they're either HMOs or PPOs typically. They have certain networks that you have to work within. So certain hospitals, certain doctors, certain specialist facilities, things like that. And you have to work within that network with the plan that you're working with. In some cases, you don't have the ability to go outside of that network. And that's tough if you've got a doctor that you really like and you want to see, and your plan doesn't allow you to do that. You may need to possibly look at other plans to be able to see that doctor, or possibly get a new doctor. So that's something that's tough, and it's definitely a con on these types of plans. And then here I've got the max out of pocket listed again as a high max out of pocket. Some plans can have a max out of pocket of $9,000 or $10,000, and that's something that's significant. So obviously people don't like having that much exposure. They would rather have a plan that's got a lower max out of pocket. So again, it depends on the plan. These plans, in my experience, there's a give and take. There's plans out here that have more benefits or richer benefits for things like the extra benefits we talked about, the dental and the vision, things like that. But you may have higher copays or higher max out of pocket. There could be a trade-off for that. So every situation is different. You really want to look closely at the plans. Hopefully, you've got someone like me that can help guide you in the right direction, show you what all the options are out there so you can make the best decision for you.